know you, my darling. And actually, we're gonna go on to something that's really fun in your home. Hey, Chad, how are you? Chad brings us, what are you doing,
Checking
baby?
the game.
Oh, they're in my ear telling me about it. All right, so here's what's gonna happen. If you guys are watching or your channel surfing, we have 21 Today's Specials throughout the day. All the Today's Special pricing ends at midnight tonight. We have free shipping all day long. We're now coming up at 10 p.m. There's only 2 more hours to take advantage of all the savings, all the shipping deals, everything we got going on. At midnight, it's all gonna change. If you want your super duper football championship gear, we will feature that at 11 p.m. tonight sharp. So the game ends at 11 p.m. We're going to go right into exclusive gear you can only get here at HSN. It is well worth sticking around to see it. Chad Allen, come on out.
Hi.
Chad has been with us how many years now?
I started 12 years.
12 years,
This is my 12th year.
Is it really?
I was 10. I was actually 21 when I started, yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah,
oh
now
my
I'm going to be
gosh.
34.
Wow, well, it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
And Chad brings us great ideas for the home, always, always, always. And this one's great. Told me a little background story via text. He said, Suze, we had a 4-pack of this as a clearance price.
That's right.
And then we asked these guys to bring it back for our big day as a Today's Special, and you matched the clearance price.
I thought that's the only way we can do it. Like
Right,
if we're going to do a Today's Special, at least if it's going to say Today's Special for us, even though like Diane Gilman's leading the day, it's got to be like the best deal we've ever done. And if I'm going to put my face out there, anyway, long story short, these have been blowing out. I'm impressed actually with how they've sold today.
Yes.
And there's a lot of attention on a lot of Today's Specials. So I was, quite frank, a little nervous. I said, how is Bella and Howell going to do? They're clear, but we're going to lower the lights in just a second. Underneath is one switch, that's all. So there's just one switch. You flip it to white or to color changing. That's all you have to do, white or color changing. And then that's your solar panel. You can tilt it up or tilt it down. You can tighten it up if you need to, and then just put it wherever the sun's at. That's it. And then it shines up through this glass acrylic pole here, which, by the way, very durable. You don't have to worry.
So cool.
Yeah, they have like little glitter flakes on the inside, and then they're tall. That's why people have gravitated, I think, towards them. It's because they're vertical lighting, unlike anything else you've seen. There's a before, there's an after. You can line your pathway lights with them, of course, or you could sort of put them in clusters like we have here on the set. You can put 4 really close together at different heights. You could just, you know, push them down into the ground further. And then when you put them in a cluster like in a potted plant on your balcony or a potted plant by your front door, it brings everything to life. Now we're gonna lower the lights here in the studio because it's like the sun. We try to mimic the sun. You don't have to flip any switches. We won't touch anything. And I'm gonna put this one down so you believe me. When the sun goes down and these come on automatically, and you're looking at them sort of straight on, when you're gonna be taller than them or shorter than them, you're gonna get this kind of brightness. It's gonna be much brighter.
You know what, it looks like champagne bubbles.
Yes, exactly. And I'm actually gonna put this one just down on the white, flip this one to color changing, because these are your 2 modes. You have white or color changing, and it's just gonna automorph through the colors. I'm not touching anything, it's doing it by itself. These are glimmer sticks, but as people have been saying all day, they're like glamour sticks because there's
really
nothing prettier than these.
I have never seen anything like it. I obviously didn't see them all last year, and I'm just mesmerized by this. I think it's such a unique and fun way to add decorative lighting to your yard.
It really is, and it gives you, and let me see if I can even mimic this, it gives you really vertical lighting. So you can see above my hand here. Do you see it in that shot, the program shot? You actually get up lighting next to if you put it close to a wall, is what I'm trying to say, you'll get that vertical lighting that sort of highlights your housing and your wall. It just keeps going north.
That's a great idea. Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah, and you have, imagine it's in a potted plant and now you have leaves and stuff. Yeah. It's illuminating all those leaves above it. Yeah. It's that vertical lighting that we haven't been able to achieve until this, and they're super thin. That means if you live in a small space and you just have a very tiny outdoor balcony or patio or terrace, you name it, if you live in New York City, my goodness, or like me, downtown Tampa, you don't have a lot of space to play with lighting, but you want it, and this is how you can do it.
I love this too, and remember it's a 4-pack.
Yes.
And there's no wiring involved, thank goodness.
Nothing.
And one of the things you'll discover, if you ever seen a really beautiful home and you wonder at night, why does it look so good? I will guarantee you it's because they've spent a ton of money custom lighting that house.
Right.
You know, the really rich houses, the really expensive houses in that beautiful neighborhood. You're like, man, it looks good. And it's like because they've gotten custom lighting. This is your way to do it inexpensively. And was that snow I just saw?
It was, and I'm so glad we have those shots. shots in our video footage because when you leave them out all year long, your other solar lighting probably gets buried, and then it's not charging up with the sun. These poles are 2 feet tall, and so your solar panel by itself is about a foot, at least probably a foot off the ground. And so if the snow gets that high, you brush it off, but they're gonna be above, and look at that light, they're gonna be above the snow most of the time. And in fact, Helen had a good point earlier. If you put this like where your big boulders are, your rocks in your yard or your bushes, and then the snow covers them up, at least you'll know where to not back up into, right? Like you're backing out of your garage, your
That's
car.
a very practical idea. I love that.
Very practical.
I'll tell you, my one girlfriend, she used to live out in the country, on this country road in Ohio, and every time, I've been out to her house a million times, I would zoom past it because I could never, it was always dark, and I could never identify her driveway.
Yes.
These would be perfect to have out there because then they could say, oh, it's the colored changing lights that are very different, and they look great. And I love your idea of the planter, putting them around the pool, putting them around your lanai, maybe you have a walkway. Maybe it's just along your driveway would look beautiful.
You can definitely put them in a single file line. That's the traditional way to use these that I've seen a lot of customers send pictures of. However, the more creative types are putting them in clusters, all 4 really close together at different heights, just pushing them down further or pulling them up further. The 2 modes, every single one, whether you're seeing color changing or white, it's just a flip of a switch. You're not choosing. It's all built in there, okay? And the solar panel is built in as well. It works by itself. You don't have to put in a battery, then it charges up. It's all installed for you. The assembly is very simple. You just put the acrylic top on the pole. That's it. It takes about 3 seconds.
That's great.
And you stake it right down into the ground. You will have to turn it on the first time, and then the sun charges it up, and then every single night it just comes back on.
And about how long does the
8 hours
light last?
It's tested for 8 hours. On 3 to 4 hours of charge will give you 8 hours of light.
Oh, nice. So all night.
And solar panels, if you haven't had solar in the last few years, you do not have to have direct sunlight. The UV rays bouncing around charges solar panels now. The technology is different.
Oh, wow.
And so you don't need that direct sunlight. That's for any sort of solar in the last 3 or 4 years. Is not just Bell and Howell.
Oh, that's nice.
It's
so
just
if you have a little bit more of a shaded area, you're still going to be able to put some
totally
lights on.
fine. You know, just like computers have changed and phones have changed, solar technology. If you haven't jumped in recently because you've had bad experiences with solar, I really encourage you to give it a shot. And by the way, 4 is going to look beautiful if you can swing it. And you know what I'm going to say, like, and I don't say this very often, but like 8 would really make a statement.
Yeah, and with our flex pay, it's $10 right now. So if you're getting multiples, you can get a couple different sets, and you're only spending $10 on a major credit card. You pay it off in 3 months. The big deal on this is the price is fabulous.
Yes.
And it's the free shipping. This is the moment. Do you have a wedding coming up, a birthday party? Do you know in the spring or the summer you're having an event and you want that grand entrance? Can you imagine how modern and cool and fun it would be to line that entrance with these? And please don't wait for them to come back, because unfortunately, like what they did is they honored the clearance price from last year, and it was just because it was the end of the season. It wasn't clearance because people hated them. It was clearance because we were going into winter.
That's true.
And so it's really not the time that we necessarily sell our solar lights. So take advantage of our today's special with the free shipping. Oh my gosh. You are saving so much money on shipping that all ends in 2 hours.
We actually had the discussion today because what do we do after today? You know, there's like pricing rules. And so this is the biggest and baddest deal we can do. And we only had 2 shows. And so now I have inventory remaining. I mean, we're not going to sell out of these tonight. We're Bell and Howell. We make hundreds of thousands. Here's the problem, though. We won't be able to bring this price back because we can't beat a today's special pricing. That's the best of the best. I think we kicked ourselves in the butt today going like, well, next week it's going to have to be higher.
Well, but you know what my guess is? Even at $39.99, they're still such a great product.
I think so.
And I think they're fresh and it's very different. I think it gives your whole yard, that patio out back. If you live on a big farm and you're like, gosh, I really need to decorate something back, like in kind of an area that doesn't have a lot of light, or you can't run electricity to it.
True.
It's
By
great,
the mailbox.
like around a shed. The mailbox, the entrance to a long driveway, like my friend Teresa and John's house, which I could never find. I like that they're color changed. You can have that automatically, or if you just want to do that great clean white, that looks pretty too.
Yeah, you can absolutely. The white is going to be your very classic staple. The color changing is fun. If you want to go back and forth, you can do that. You're just going to flip the switch. It's going to take about 5 seconds is all you're going to do. Okay, so the Bell & Howell name brand has been around